It is billionaire versus billionaire. SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk defriending Facebook's Mark Zuckerberg, literally, after Facebook's Cambridge Analytica data leak scandal. Musk's Twitter followers challenged him to delete both Tesla and SpaceX's official Facebook pages on the social media platform. And the electric car CEO didn't waste any time deleting both of them. Meantime, both the House Energy and Commerce Committee and the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science and Transportation are calling on Mr. Zuckerberg to testify before lawmakers on Capitol Hill. This is a story that gains momentum. Our next guest was an early mentor to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Activate founder and partner Michael Wolff joins us now. Michael, thank you for being here.
Great to be here today.
Right off the bat, I felt like they responded very slowly. Once this story came out of this data being used with 50 million people's data, couldn't they have come out and said, we're just getting onto this, we are as shocked as you are, we'll give you the answer as soon as we know what happened? Instead, we waited days and days and days, and then we get a, we're really sorry.
And Facebook has mishandled its public relations ever since the beginning of us understanding that the Facebook platform was used to influence the election, was used to influence all sorts of other disagreements and splits within American and foreign society. I think in this case, yes, they're responding slow, but now they're out talking about it. I think we have Mark Zuckerberg, the company's CEO, Sheryl Sandberg, the COO, and they're recognizing that they have a problem. The real question comes down to,
can they fix it?
Well, I think that they can fix it. I think that this is one of the largest technology companies in the world, and they have the ability to do a lot. They have some of the best technologists, and also they have members, they have advertisers that will stick with them.
It's interesting because Mr. Zuckerberg and Sheryl Sandberg have said, yeah, we welcome some regulation if it helps us get more transparency. But doesn't that not really hurt the very business model that's made this company so successful and made it grow so quickly?
I think regulation is not going to help the internet, and it's not going to help Facebook and Google, the largest companies. In fact, if it's going to do anything, it's going to end up hurting upstarts. It's going to end up hurting some of the smaller companies that don't have the resources to really deal with those regulations. Of course, Facebook and other companies and Google, they'll figure out a way around the regulations, but they're really not good for the internet as a whole.
By the way, as we're talking, we've just heard news from the UK that the court has granted a warrant to search Cambridge Analytica's office. So there's that part of the investigation going on in the UK. The sense I get, Michael, when I watch this is that I feel like they don't really know how much of our information, of the user's information, is out there right now, who has it, and how it's being used.
Well, it's
like the horse is bolted.
Yeah, it's not only that they don't know how much of it, they don't even know how it's being used. I mean, in a lot of ways, people keep talking about this as a privacy problem. It's not just a privacy problem. It's how that information is being used, how it's being given to advertisers, and the kinds of things that we're hearing about Cambridge Analytica have more to do with their ability to do psychological operations, to be able to influence the way that people think about things. So Cambridge Analytica may not be the only company that's misused Facebook data.
The damage to the brand. We mentioned Elon Musk is now deleting his Facebook pages for SpaceX and Tesla. Is this something that could gain momentum, and how much damage does that do ultimately to the brand?
Actually, I don't think it's going to gain that much momentum. I think that Facebook is an integral part of people's lives. I have two 19-year-olds. Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, which is also owned by Facebook, Facebook Messenger. They're really intricately woven into how people communicate, how they keep in touch with their friends. I don't think these happen overnight. Over time, these platforms end up losing people because they go somewhere else.
That's true. And where do they go? There's, Facebook's the big game in town.
Well, it's interesting. Dave Morin, who was one of the early Facebook employees, he started a while ago a social network called Path, which was only about your closest friends. He's reviving. I think there's going to be a lot of other people that are going to come out with alternatives to Facebook. And Facebook is like a lot of other platforms. You look what happened with MySpace.
Yes.
Social networks, in a lot of ways, they're like a big party, and the party moves on.